welcome to Logan Sounds Off, where I talk about books, music, and a whole lot more. I'm your host, Logan Kelly. Hello and welcome back to Logan Sounds Off. Today on my podcast, I'm going to be reviewing Fontaines D.C's debut album, which is called Dogrel, which first of all I think is a really unique and strange name, and I actually picked up this particular record on vinyl in Tower Records, and this was featured in my 2022 roundup of the year, and it's a very, very cool album. And along with that, on that day I also bought A Hero's Death and I Don't Belong, which was the B-side single from their sophomore album, which is called A Hero's Death, and an incredible album that is. And I've also got Thank You So Much to Gilded ALM. I have Skinty Fia, which is their latest album, on CD, and I loved this album as well. Both very different albums, so I thought I'd start off with the first, which in my opinion is actually my favourite. And I remembered when my dad first put on Fontaines D.C. in the car, and I was really... It wasn't punk. It sounded different. It had a different vibe to it. More modern, I felt. Not in a bad way. I'm not saying that it's not punk music. Just it didn't feel like it at the time. It felt more indie rock based nearly, but there was definitely a punk influence there. And as well, hearing a Dublin accent, it was an incredible to hear an Irish band like this. And they had just started. I think the first songs that I heard by them was Big, and then Too Real, and then I'd say Sha Sha Sha, and then afterwards on the John Creedon show I would have heard Liberty Bell and Boys in the Betterland, and they're all on this album, and I believe some of them were singles as well. So I listened to those, and I was really I felt so invested in this new band, but they were very strange, but I quite liked them. So when Dogrel came out, it was always on my to-buy list. So at the end of 2022, I was delighted to pick up Dogrel finally and be able to have it in vinyl format. So I've been listening to it a lot since I've got it, and I sat down a couple of weeks ago and I decided in the new year on my first album review, I'm going to review Dogrel. So I'm going to start off with just some of the basic information, if you don't know about Dogrel, was that it was released in 2019, so 5 years ago now, by Partisan Records, and Fontaines D.C. also. If you ever look at them on social media, some people reference them as Fontaines. So if you like this band, make sure to check out their website, fontainesband.com, and they are just an incredible group of people, as you'll hear. Starting off with Big, which is the first track on side A of Dogrel. And I have to say, I really love the guitar riff in this, and it has this organic sound. So obviously this was recorded in a studio. This wasn't a garage album. This wasn't this was a very beautifully presented and well produced album. This was very well produced. But this album was recorded at Mr. Dan's studio in London. So I really thought, wow, how did they achieve that sound, first of all, in the first track? And the band is a really good dynamic. They work together. The instruments, especially in Sha Sha Sha, they're very nearly block. I would use the term block as in that it's nearly in segments, but very finely cut segments, that there's a flow to it from some of the instruments, but at the same time other instruments are keeping it in balance, and I really thought that was interesting. But in Sha 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 actually, which is a great track, this is the second track now, has a really cool drum beat actually. I love the drum beat in Sha 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 because it is the drum is so well recorded. It's perfect, and it's really simplistic. There's no really complex stuff in the beginning, and yet the other instruments, I feel, they kind of, the instruments are interdependent on each other, but I think they're very dependent on the drum, because the drum gives the song its real, first of all, it gives it its feel. It gives it kind of nearly a groove and a sound. And when I say a sound, I mean when I hear that drum beat, by hearing that, not just because it's the first instrument played in the track, if someone asked me, what do you think this drum beat is from? I will say Fontaines Sha Sha Sha. So I think that's very interesting. And the next track then, Too Real, which is an iconic song for Dogrel, and just a really, this was one of the first songs I heard, and just it really kind of, I didn't know much about punk music, and I still don't know that much. I'm still getting into a lot of different genres at the time of recording in January 2024. I love indie rock, but now I'm starting to explore specific genres and early labels. For example, Alternative Tentacles, which is best known for Dead Kennedys, who were originally signed with Alternative Tentacles, and the singer of Dead Kennedys, Jello Biafra, actually started Alternative Tentacles. So I've started been going on into all these subgenres, but this was nearly the start of my interest in Irish punk. So this is a very important album to me, and please let me know what you think of Dogrel actually in the comments, or also make sure to let me know on Spotify for podcasters on the RSS feed, and let me know on social media. So I love the guitar plucks in Too Real. So the first thing that I will say about Too Real is there is a Dublin accent there, and it's really cool. I mean, I don't, because a lot of singers, when they sing, they lose their accent, and I think they lose a tone there. But what's achieved in Fontaines' music is just pure authenticity. So that's why I love hearing the accent. And the hi-hats are brilliant as well. And the way they're in sync, it's a very colourful start. The start of the song is very interesting. So I love Too Real. And then after that, you got Television Screens. And I really like this song because it has a great feel to it. And also, I just have to say, the guitarist in Fontaines D.C, it's such a unique, there's such a unique tone there. Now, I'm actually not sure who played the guitar on this, because there's Carlos O'Connell and also Connor Curley. So I'm not sure who played the guitar in that particular song, but it's the guitarist, the main guitarist in general, because there's such a strange guitar, kind of the way they play the guitar. So I love that. And then you have Hurricane Laughter. This is the first song that nearly, it's the thing is with Fontaines D.C, I would listen to that nearly, and I would kind of just listen and just surround myself with that kind of music. But this was the first one that actually made an impact, and I'm not trying to say that sounding offensive or pretentious. I'm saying this song actually really made an impact, not because the lyrics or anything, the actual music. And as well, Big made an impact on me because it was the first time I heard Fontaines D.C and it was new. So that's totally different. This was a totally new thing for me. And to be honest, I hadn't heard that particular song in its entirety, because I used to listen to different songs on the album until I sat down about a month ago and listened to the full album. Before that though, I listened to Skinty Fia, so I listened to a lot, and A Hero's Death, or a good bit of A Hero's Death anyways. So I knew Fontaines D.C, or I thought I knew them, but then they come out with Hurricane Laughter, so that made me kind of think about it in a whole different way. So now I'm going to actually, that was just an incredible track, and it's very eerie and it's nearly cinematic as well. And I use the term cinematic not as in the video, because I haven't seen any Fontaines D.C video. I am not a massive music video person. I imagine my own music video in my head, and I don't do that on purpose. It just happens, and it's not something that I go, or I'm just saying that I do it particularly. It's just I don't watch many music videos because there aren't really music channels that would be kind of my nearly favorite genres out there anymore. Apart from maybe some, but just but the distorted guitar is excellent in Hurricane Laughter, so I really like that. But this is the thing. Hurricane Laughter moves on to a beautiful track then called Roy's Tune. But this song sends out a cool message. Not eerie, not creepy, not cinematic, not different, not unique, not impactful. It just says we're done for now. Then you move on to side B. So just one thing that I'm going to say before I start divulging into side B is that it's only 5 tracks, whether the last side was 6. So the first actually I got on my record, which I like to think is a quirk of the record and not a massive problem. Big, I think it might have been that it was made wrong, because Big, when I first got it, it skipped like 5 times. The song's only like a minute and a half, whether the actual song's like 3 minutes. So half of it's chopped out. And it wasn't me, because I'm very delicate with my records. So I don't know what happened there. So that might have been why the last side felt like kind of shorter or more tracks. But this album was a lot longer and stretched and much more, there was a lot more meaning, I felt. And I don't say that as in that the first side was bad. I think the first side was great music. The second side was more kind of good music, but also food for thought. So I thought that was really cool. And The Lots was the first track on this side. And I thought that the ride cymbals were actually very strange. And I will say, because you have a ride, but it cut off. I am not a big fan of that, where it goes and then it just stops. That irritates me. I don't know why, but something about the cymbal just not finishing what it's meant to do, it drove me nuts throughout the song. But I don't know what it is. I didn't really like the song as much. But apart from that, the song's really good. Just the ride I didn't like. But apart from that, it's a really good song. I don't want to focus on the negative, because this album is actually incredible. It is... I can't really say it's not as good as Skin Tifia, because in fairness, I've played this a lot. So it might be just getting bored to me nearly. So that could be a bit of that there. And I don't unfairly judge this album. So I'll let you know what I think at the end. But then you got Checklist Reckless, and this song nearly feels like something is in jeopardy. And I use the word jeopardy because it's not like something's in panic, because first of all, that's grammatically incorrect. It just feels like there's something off. It was an unsettling track. So this was slightly like Hurricane Laughter. It's a bit unsettling, a bit creepy, a bit eerie, a bit strange, a bit nearly more, I would actually say nearly supernatural. It felt like there was something there that wasn't kind of part of the album. I felt something there. And I'm not saying obviously that the music that has ghosts or something. I'm just saying it felt like in the particular song it was talking about an experience that was not quite normal. So I thought that was really cool, and I think I could investigate further, but I'm just sticking to the music now. So it felt kind of like there was panic. So then next up was Liberty Bell, and this is actually one of my favourite tracks, which is, this song is a really cool riff, but this was an incredible song, and it meant a lot to me. So I love to hear this again. And then you had Boys in the Better Land, which is a great track, and I love the riff and the drum beat. But I just want to speak about Dublin City Sky because this nearly had a Pogues feel to it. And the Pogues are an incredible band. I love the Pogues. And I was very sad to hear the passing of Shane MacGowan. But Dublin City Sky was a great finish for this album. So what do I think of it? I'm going to rate this album a strong 5 stars for a couple of reasons. By the way, I'm about to discuss the album cover, so you can check it out on my website, logansoundsoff.com, on the album review page. This is Fontaines D.C. Dogrel. The album cover is incredible. So if you want to view this and see it on picture properly, you can look at it on my website. And I don't get where the name Dogrel came from. Don't know why they went for this album cover. All I know is it's an incredible album. Let me know what you think. And just, thank you so much, Fontaines D.C, for making such great music. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Logan Sounds Off. You can follow me on X, Facebook and Instagram at Logan Sounds Off. And don't forget to subscribe and not miss any more cool episodes. Bye guys!